On the streets of Rome, Enzo sprinted through traffic as police chased him for stealing a watch. He slipped into a protest to lose them, but when cornered on a bridge, he fled onto a crane and jumped into the river. After the police left, he tried to escape but slipped on some old barrels, breaking one and spilling radioactive waste all over himself. He climbed out, coughing up a strange black substance on the bus home. Growing weaker, he staggered to his slum apartment and spent the night vomiting the same black fluid, shivering despite layers of blankets. By morning, he felt better and went to sell the watch to his neighbor, Sergio, who was busy with his gang's meeting. Their leader, Fabio, was furious over a botched mission plan involving smuggling illegal substances hidden in two mule brothers. When a subordinate brought him the wrong-colored phone, Fabio beat him to death in a rage. Afterward, Sergio bought Enzo's watch and invited him to join the dangerous mission for extra pay. At Sergio's home, Enzo met his daughter Alessia, a disturbed girl who believed a movie hero would one day save her. Sergio later explained she'd become mentally unstable after her mother's death. They picked up the Mule brothers and went to an abandoned construction site, where one brother fell ill and died from a ruptured drug packet. As Sergio tried to cut the body open, the surviving brother attacked, and a gunfight broke out. Sergio was shot dead, and Enzo was hit in the shoulder and thrown off the building, but miraculously survived. His body barely hurt. Dazed and bleeding, he fled into the night. Meanwhile, Fabio and his gang met a notorious terrorist and the biggest drug trafficker in Rome. He promised to deliver the package from the Mule brothers to her, knowing failure meant death. Elsewhere, Enzo was stopped by Alessia, who asked about her father. Ignoring her, he locked himself in his apartment, patched his wound with toilet paper, and grew irritated when she kept knocking. In anger, he punched the door, and was shocked when his fist broke through the wood. Testing his strength, he bent a radiator and shoved a cabinet aside with ease. Realizing he had gained superhuman power, Enzo covered his face, went to an ATM, ripped it from the wall, and took it home. He used the cash to fill his fridge and buy adult films. When he checked his shoulder, the wound had completely healed. Soon after, he heard screams outside. Fabio and his thugs were assaulting Alessia, trying to force her to reveal Sergio's location. Enzo ignored them at first until Fabio slapped him. He walked away as the gang dragged Alessia inside, ransacking her home. When they destroyed her movie disc, she panicked and attacked Fabio, who hit her and threatened to kill her. Suddenly, Enzo crashed through the window, masked. A thug lunged, but Enzo threw him aside effortlessly. Fabio grabbed Alessia as a hostage, but Enzo took down the others within seconds. Terrified, Fabio ordered a retreat, and his men fled the apartment. Alessia hit Fabio and freed herself, but he stabbed Enzo in the leg before fleeing. Pulling out the knife, Enzo discovered he had lost a toe. Alessia, believing he was the hero from her favorite anime, begged him to take her somewhere safe. At Enzo's apartment, he stitched his toe while Alessia rambled about superheroes. She said he should protect the whole city, but he coldly replied that he only saved her because she was Sergio's daughter. When she asked about Sergio, Enzo said he didn't know. That night, Alessia slept in his bed while Enzo lay awake on the sofa, fighting his attraction to her. Searching her jacket, he found Sergio's plan to rob an armored car. In the morning, he caught her watching porn and turned off the TV. His reattached toe had not healed, showing his powers had limits. Enzo took Alessia to the nursing home where Sergio used to send her, promising to return tomorrow. Back home, he studied the robbery plan while watching her favorite anime. Meanwhile, Enzo's ATM theft video went viral. Fabio's gang recognized him and, desperate to repay Nunzia, decided to rob the armored car themselves. The next day, as Fabio's crew lay in wait, Enzo appeared on the bridge, throwing stones at the armored car until it stopped. He smashed the window, threw out the driver, and took the money. Fabio opened fire, but Enzo escaped as police arrived. That night, Enzo filled his fridge again and watched cartoons until the police returned to Alessia, found wandering outside. She gifted him a handmade item for his transformation. Enzo tried to send her away, but when she noticed he'd bought her favorite movie set, they watched together. During the film, she panicked when he moved too close, revealing signs of past abuse. Enzo comforted her and swore never to hurt her. Elsewhere, Nunzia's men waited in vain for Fabio, who secretly watched them from afar, plotting his next move. The next morning, Fabio found a crude drawing of the masked thief spray painted on the wall of his building. Furious, he stormed into his office to find Antonio preparing to borrow money to pay Nunzia. They argued bitterly. Antonio had lost all respect for Fabio and declared himself the new leader. Enraged, Fabio ordered his dogs to attack, leaving Antonio dead. Meanwhile, Enzo took Alessia to an abandoned amusement park where she used to visit with her parents. To cheer her up, he used his strength to spin the Ferris wheel, making her laugh for the first time in days. Later, they wandered through a mall, with Alessia joyfully comparing strangers to her favorite anime characters. At a clothing store, Alessia found a princess dress she had always dreamed of owning. She excitedly tried it on, but the mood shifted. Enzo's guilt and confusion about their growing bond began to surface. When Alessia begged him to help find her father, Enzo finally broke down and admitted the truth. Sergio was dead. Alessia was shattered after hearing the truth. She blamed Enzo for failing to protect her father and accused him of caring about no one but himself. Calling him heartless and selfish, she ran away in tears. Meanwhile, news of the armored car robbery spread across Rome. Fabio smashed his office in rage as he watched the masked thief become a sensation. On a nearby tram, Alessia sat quietly until the vehicle suddenly stopped. Enzo was holding its back, trying to catch up with her. The passengers gasped as they recognized him as the wanted thief and began recording. Enzo entered the tram and apologized to Alessia. She reluctantly agreed to go with him but insisted he wear his mask since everyone had seen his face. As they fled through the crowd, an explosion rocked the city, sending people into panic. Using the chaos as cover, Enzo carried Alessia to safety. Moments later, at the police station, Alessia tearfully identified her father's body. Elsewhere, Fabio met a dealer to borrow money, but before the deal could finish, Nunzia and her men appeared. She shot the dealer, seized the cash, and tied Fabio up with tape, mocking him as her men doused him with gasoline. Just as she prepared to light her lighter, the wounded dealer suddenly rose and opened fire, killing her guards. Fabio seized a gun and shot Nunzia in the leg before she escaped. Furious, he killed the dealer and returned to his office, only to find all his dogs and men dead. Seeing Enzo's tram video on TV, Fabio realized the masked man was his old enemy. That night, Fabio and his last surviving follower tracked Enzo and Alessia, who were fleeing the city on a motorcycle. They hid in a small hotel, where Enzo finally opened up about his harsh childhood in the slums and how violence had shaped his mistrust of others. Suddenly, Fabio stormed into the room and shot Enzo with a tranquilizer dart. His henchmen captured Alessia. When Enzo woke, he was bound in tape while Alessia was trapped in a van. Fabio demanded to know how he got his powers. When Enzo refused, Fabio ordered his man to hurt Alessia until Enzo confessed. Desperate, Enzo revealed the truth and led them to the crane by the river where he'd been contaminated. Fabio didn't believe him and hesitated to jump. Meanwhile, Alessia tricked her guard into coming closer by asking to use the bathroom, then stabbed him with a knitting needle and ran toward the river. At that same moment, Nunzia and her armed crew arrived, setting the stage for the final confrontation. Fabio opened fire and tried to take Alessia hostage, but his opponent quickly shot him down. When Enzo ran to Alessia, he discovered she had also been shot. Fabio, in his dying moments, tried to crawl away, but Nunzia stopped him and burned him alive with a flamethrower. Fabio screamed for a few seconds, then his body fell into the river. Before she died, Alessia told Enzo that he had to become the hero Jig and save everyone. The next morning, Fabio emerged from the river, his entire body covered in chemicals. He applied makeup to cover his burns and put on a wig. When he tried to kill a fly, he accidentally damaged a part of his car, proving that he had also gained superpowers. Then he went to Nunzia's headquarters and placed his phone down to record the entire upcoming battle. Thanks to his new strength, he easily killed all the subordinates in the room. When he approached Nunzia, he hugged her so tightly that her spine broke, killing her. After dancing with the corpse, he noticed a secret door, and when he opened it, he discovered a huge arsenal. Among them were explosives, proving that Nunzia's gang was responsible for the bombings across the city. Meanwhile, Enzo was too grief-stricken and just wandered. A pair of police officers saw him from their patrol car, but when they tried to chase him, they accidentally caused an accident that overturned a family car in front of them. They quickly rescued the mother but couldn't get the daughter out before the car caught fire. Enzo immediately rushed over, tore open the car door, and rescued the baby. The mother hugged her daughter and thanked Enzo, which reminded him of Alessia. Just then, a TV near a food truck broadcast the video of Fabio killing all of Nunzia's gang. This video had gone viral. At the end of the video, Fabio looked directly at the camera and declared he was preparing for something big. Determined to stop him, Enzo convinced a driver to lend him a motorcycle. When the person asked his name, Enzo introduced himself by the name of the hero character in the anime. Meanwhile, Fabio had infiltrated a crowded stadium by pretending to be homeless, ambushing and taking down the guards. Once inside, he began preparing to activate the bomb. When Enzo arrived, an employee reminded him that he needed a ticket to enter the stadium, but Enzo simply moved a heavy gate with his bare hands to get in. He quickly found Fabio and rushed into battle, but Fabio suddenly demonstrated new strength and threw Enzo through a wall. Enzo retaliated by throwing a toilet bowl at Fabio's head, and the fierce battle continued. Both pounded each other with terrifying strength and used the walls to inflict more damage. Realizing he couldn't win, Fabio fled. Enzo chased him while the police began to surround the building. After a chase, Fabio hid among the audience in the stands, but Enzo still found him and beat him severely, causing him to drop the detonator. Fabio retaliated by throwing Enzo down into the stands and then jumped after him. When Enzo struggled to his feet, he saw the police trying to catch Fabio. He also jumped down but hit his head upon landing, making him dizzy. Taking advantage of the opportunity, Fabio defeated the police and fled. Enzo struggled to catch up and discovered Fabio had activated a homemade bomb in an ambulance before fleeing again. When Enzo saw that there were only 5 minutes left until the bomb exploded, he got into the driver's seat and sped off. Unfortunately, the police blocked the road and refused to move even though he reported the bomb. Enzo had no choice but to hug the bomb and push the ambulance towards the police cars, causing it to crash into them. While the officers were still confused, Enzo rushed through the crowd to try to reach the bridge, but was blocked by Fabio and tackled to the ground. The bomb fell near the railing, while Fabio repeatedly slammed Enzo's head into the ground. Then Fabio ran to the bomb and reset the timer to 15 seconds. Enzo managed to get up, rushed into Fabio, causing both to fall into the river with the bomb. The final explosion occurred underwater, causing no damage, only a column of water spewing up, and Fabio's head fell right onto the bridge. In the following days, the media hotly debated whether Enzo was a true hero or just a thief. Everyone thought he had died in the explosion, but Enzo had actually escaped the river, and now he wears the mask knitted by Alessia, secretly helping the city in the shadows.